In the case of State of Georgia versus Kamen Allen, defendant Ms. Kamen Allen appeared for a probation revocation hearing. The record of violation and failure to comply with the conditions of the probation terms were examined by the court as it opened its proceedings. She had been sentenced to 12 months probation upon her arrest for DUI and stop or yield sign violation. She was charged following an incident that occurred on September 25, 2023. To date, she served part of her period under probation and had a remaining period of 3 months and 21 days. However, she had committed several violations of those specific terms and conditions of her probation, hence bringing her before the court on a second order. The judge was reflective of sorrow and frustration for the fact that Ms. Allen had not grown up to the point where she would assume personal responsibility now that she had obtained her release from prison on probation.
All right, Ms. Allen.
Yes,
You're before the court on State of Georgia versus Kamikawan LaShawn Allen, 2021 CR 04498. Ms. Allen, you were before this court for driving under the influence, stop or yield sign violation on 25th day of September 2023, sentenced to 12 months on probation. You have 3 months and 21 days remaining, and this is your second hearing. You failed to report on April 14th, May 24th, June 4th for a revocation hearing. You were released from the hospital and instructed to report after being released. You last reported on January 22nd of 2024.
Ms. Allen probation included 240 hours of community service, a clinical evaluation, attendance at a victim impact panel, and completion of a risk reduction program. All important steps toward addressing the DUI charge and commitment to a rehabilitation process. Regrettably, Ms. Allen failed to meet nearly all these provisions. Since the judge noted that it was not her first appearance in court for a violation, it appeared that she had been given ample opportunity and she still failed to comport herself appropriately.
Completed 0 of 240 hours of community service. You failed to do a clinical evaluation. You failed to do a risk reduction. You failed to provide proof of a victim impact panel. You failed to provide proof of attending AA meetings, and your $2,752.50 in arrears. What's going on?
It would be evident during this revocation hearing that Ms. Allen missed several of the initial reporting dates, yet she skipped both of her April 14th and May 24th scheduled attendance dates for revocation hearings, and also on June 4th. The court had ordered her to report once she was discharged from the hospital, which she failed to do. Her last reported probation meeting was on January 22nd, 2024. After that date, nothing was heard from her. Another major reason for revoking Ms. Allen's probation is that she has 0 hours completed of the mandated 240 hours of community service. Ms. Allen claims that she did indeed carry out some of her community service. However, she confirmed that she had not in fact submitted any evidence or documentation to Mr. Austin, her probation officer. Ms. Allen explained that she is working under the supervision of a woman who is no longer working at the facility, and therefore she has no tangible evidence of doing the service. To that, I answered by pointing out that he is mistaken, to say the least, because there should be a paper trail or at least a correspondence, no matter what change in personnel.
Your Honor, are you asking Ms. Allen to address it? So,
whoever can explain to me why Ms. Allen's not doing what she's supposed to be doing.
So we were going to stipulate that there is a violation here in all these allegations of violation of probation. She has done some of the things, like I think Mr. Austin here, would agree with me that she has shown him some proof of some AA meetings. I think that was from February of this year going backwards. So there was some AA meetings. She maintains that she has done a significant portion of the community service hours, although Mr. Austin has informed me that she has not submitted proof, but he may correct me if I'm wrong, that he had some evidence that there was actually some community service being completed at a particular location.
That's great, but I never received the proof. And the young lady who she was doing community service no longer works there, Your Honor.
Ms. Allen also failed to complete her clinical evaluation, which was a crucial part of her probation tied to the DUI charge. This evaluation is designed to assess whether the individual has an alcohol dependence issue and to recommend the most appropriate treatment or rehabilitation plan. For the court, the clinical evaluation was not just a procedural step, but a preventive measure aimed at addressing the underlying issues that led to the DUI charge. The judge emphasized that this evaluation was a vital tool in preventing future infractions, as it could have provided Ms. Allen with the necessary insights and resources to better manage her relationship with alcohol and reduce the likelihood of reoffending. In addition to skipping the clinical evaluation, Ms. Allen failed to complete two other significant components of her probation: the risk reduction program and participation in the victim impact panel. The risk reduction program is a structured educational course designed to inform offenders about the dangers of alcohol and drug use, particularly when combined with driving. It is meant to increase awareness and help individuals recognize the consequences of their actions. By neglecting to participate in this program, Ms. Allen missed an opportunity to better understand the risks her behavior posed to herself and others. Equally important was the Victim Impact Panel, a program that allows DUI offenders to hear directly from victims or families of victims affected by drunk driving incidents. This program is intended to create a deep, emotional understanding of the pain and devastation caused by impaired driving. Through these first-hand accounts, offenders are encouraged to develop a greater sense of responsibility and empathy, hopefully leading them to make better decisions in the future. By failing to attend this panel, Ms. Allen lost a key opportunity to grasp the human toll of her actions. Her non-participation in both the risk reduction program and the Victim Impact Panel signaled to the court that she did not fully appreciate the gravity of her offense or the rehabilitation process intended to prevent future incidents. Another significant issue in Ms. Allen's case was her failure to provide proof of attendance at Alcoholics Anonymous (AA) meetings. While she told the court that she had attended several meetings and even described it as a hobby she enjoyed, she was unable to provide the necessary documentation to support these claims. Attendance at AA meetings is a standard requirement for individuals dealing with alcohol-related offenses, like DUI, as these gatherings provide support, accountability, and a structured environment for recovery. Despite Ms. Allen's assurances that she was a regular participant, the absence of concrete proof, such as signed attendance sheets, raised doubts about her commitment to the recovery process. The probation officer had requested this proof, but without it, the court was left questioning the authenticity of Ms. Allen's statements. In addition to failing her program and meeting requirements, Ms. Allen also neglected to pay the fines and fees associated with her DUI probation, totaling $2,152. These financial obligations were part of her sentence and were intended to serve as a monetary penalty for her offense. The judge explained that the failure to pay these fines was yet another indicator of Ms. Allen's disregard for court orders. The fines were not arbitrary, but an essential part of her punishment, reflecting the severity of her DUI charge. By not making any efforts to fulfill this financial obligation, Ms. Allen demonstrated a lack of accountability and responsibility. This, coupled with her failure to complete other probation requirements, further convinced the court that she was not taking her sentence seriously. During the hearing, Ms. Allen offered several explanations for her inability to meet her probationary obligations. She explained that she had spent the past 9 months moving between various residences, including her mother's, father's, ex-boyfriend's, and a friend's homes, which contributed to her instability. Ms. Allen claimed that this constant movement made it difficult to stay on top of her probation requirements, as her official mailing address was at her mother's home. She explained that she had relied heavily on others, including her mother, to keep her informed about probation appointments and deadlines. As a result, she missed several key dates because she trusted others to manage her responsibilities instead of taking control of the situation herself. While Ms. Allen admitted that depending on others to manage her probation was a mistake, her explanation did little to sway the court. The judge reminded her that she had already been given multiple chances to comply with the terms of her probation and had failed to follow through. This was not Ms. Allen's first probation hearing, and the judge was clearly frustrated by her repeated noncompliance. The court had gone to great lengths to explain the terms of her probation and the consequences of not adhering to them, yet Ms. Allen had continued to fall short. The judge was particularly unimpressed with Ms. Allen's claims of financial and logistical difficulties. Ms. Allen had mentioned that she was not working at the time because she had recently gone through a divorce and sold her house, which gave her some financial cushion. However, the judge pointed out that if Ms. Allen had enough money to sustain herself without working, she should have been able to afford the DUI classes and fines that were part of her probation. Additionally, Ms. Allen's admission that she had access to transportation, albeit through others, undermined her argument that she could not attend her probation meetings or programs. The court found that she had the means to comply with her probation but chose not to prioritize it. The judge expressed deep concern about Ms. Allen's attitude toward her probation, particularly in light of the fact that her offense involved alcohol. The judge noted that Ms. Allen's failure to complete the required programs, which were designed to address her alcohol use, indicated a lack of seriousness in addressing the root cause of her DUI charge. The judge went as far as to label Ms. Allen an alcoholic, citing her behavior and repeated failure to take responsibility for her actions. The court's primary concern was public safety, as Ms. Allen's continued failure to comply with her probation requirements suggested that she had not fully grasped the dangers of her behavior.
Other than that, she does admit that she didn't complete the clinical evaluation or the risk reduction program or complete the victim impact panel.
Okay. Why are you playing with me, Miss Allen?
No,
I remember we had a very long discussion when I sentenced you. Very, very long. And this is your second hearing. We had a long discussion when you came up for the first hearing. Why are you playing with me?
I am not. I promise you, Your Honor. And I apologize if it comes across that way. What I can say is that I've learned over this year that I should not be relying on other people to relay me information, which is what has happened. I pretty much I've not had a stable place to live. My mailing address is my mother's. So I bounced between my mother, my father, ex-boyfriend, even a friend's house throughout this past 6 months or 9 months or so. I apologize that I took other people's word for it as far as when I was supposed to report and when I was not, why I was supposed to report and why I was not. And that's to make a very, very, very long story short, which is the reason why Ms. has half of the information to have proof of. There's no way these people could have seen me in this building all day, every day for 4 straight months and not attest to the fact that I was there doing my community service. Whether that lady was fired or not, she reports to somebody who reports to somebody, and I can give proof to you that I did it. The only 2 things I did not do is the last 2 that he said, the risk reduction and the drunk driving mother thing. I just hate that. It's so disturbing. I honestly was saving it to last. But everything else I've been doing. AA meetings I do when I'm out. I do it just as a hobby. I love AA. So.
The judge appeared shocked that the court's directive was taken so lightly by Ms. Allen. He even went ahead to accuse Ms. Allen of playing with the court. Ms. Allen tried to apologize, explaining that it was not intentional in disregarding the court's orders. She said that she had saved the clinical evaluation and risk reduction program to the last because they were emotionally trying for her, describing them as disturbing. The judge mentioned that Ms. Allen had, during the trial, testified that she did not need to work because she had cash from the sale of a house after her divorce. However, in this judgment, the judge decided that despite affluence in Ms. Allen's purse, to clear all her fines or required programs. The judge was indeed really baffled by such a situation because Ms. Allen has the capacity to pay off her debts but willfully neglected them. This is evident in when the judge mentions how Ms. Allen was able to successfully braid her hair such that it was fine and shiny, something that would be expensive. Yet she hadn't paid her fines or enrolled in programs, a remark to him that is considered a non-seriousness on Ms. Allen's part. Probation Officer Austin recommended that Ms. Allen serve all 60 days in jail, to include time served since her lockup. The judge set a more severe sentence, however, of 3 months in jail. Once again, to again add credit for time served since her arrest.
It's up to you.
What's the recommendation, Mr. Austin?
60 days to serve, ma'am. Credit from August the 9th. After the completion of the 60 days, case will be closed.
Nope. Miss Allen? Why are you playing with me?
I'm not, I swear I'm not playing. The only thing I have done once again is relied on other people to give me my information. Relying on my mother to tell me when my next probation meeting was. There's been times when I've tried to get in contact with him when I wasn't even supposed to report. Drove down here, we live in Decatur. Drove down here just off a whim saying it's been almost a month since the last time I seen him. Let me go down here and see what's going on type of thing.
You working, Miss Allen?
No, ma'am, I'm not at the time. No, I'm not. I'm sorry, I'm not. I didn't have to be honest. Right before I started my probation with you, my husband and I got divorced. I think I shared it with you. We sold a house. I didn't have to work, honestly.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a beautiful thing. 3 months.
I have to now.
3 months.
He justified this decision by stating that Ms. Allen had failed at various instances to comply with the terms of probation, and that a longer sentence would provide Ms. Allen with enough time to think over her actions and contemplate what has to be changed, specifically regarding alcohol consumption. He told Ms. Allen that she should take her rehabilitation seriously by thinking over her future and sobriety. It is a deep concern for the safety of a community, especially with those like Ms. Allen who had been caught driving under the influence. The court further pointed out that it was concerned with how Ms. Allen could make herself understand that the offense was serious and should be prevented from happening again in the future.
Because for somebody who didn't have to work, she could have afforded those classes. Those classes could have been done. For somebody who has a job, had a car, she could drive to her probation and get all that stuff done. You just told me you drove down here.
No, I said we drove.
Who is we?
Me, my mother, or my father. I don't drive, ma'am. My license are suspended.
I'm clear.
Yeah, I don't have a car or drive.
But you had money because you said you didn't have to work. But you could have done the rest of that stuff. And if you live in Decatur, they could have dropped you at a bus stop, or you could have taken the train, or you could have done something close to your house. Ma'am, let's just be clear, because you know how I think. You're an alcoholic.
I know.
And I get that you know it, but when you don't do what I ask you to do, and this is the third time I am asking you to do it. First, when I sentenced you, probably sometime before that when I talked to you about the charges that you had pending, because your charges pending for a minute. Then I sentenced you the first time and I explained to you everything I wanted and everything I expected. Then you came up for another hearing and I explained to you everything I wanted and everything I expected. You playing with me and I'm done playing. So 3 months.
The judge warned Ms. Allen that this was her last chance to straighten up her life, and if she continued her life of transgressing against her probation, then she would now end up before the courtroom, something neither the judge nor Ms. Allen ever had in their wildest dreams. Conclusion. Biskaman Lashan. Allen was sentenced for 3 months of their prison life for violating her probation. Hopefully she would wake up from such a sentence and began to live up to her rehabilitation and fulfill her responsibilities more seriously.
Your Honor, would she be get credit for the time since she served since, I guess?
I'll give her credit since date of lockup, but she's gonna do 3 months.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Miss Allen, until you're serious about getting your life right, I don't have to be. No, you telling me, well, see, I just gonna wait till the last thing because that's disturbing to me. What's disturbing to me is you out there drunk driving and then not doing the things that I asked you to do. The things that are important to me are the things that teach you something. The class, the impact panel, the community service. Those are the important things to me. And you said you didn't have to work. You $2,700 in arrears, so you wasn't paying either.
No, that's not okay. So let me back up a little bit. I may have misspoke. I did a whole DUI probation 12-month period before I met with you. I completed it successfully. I had just completed all of that stuff in another county, Your Honor, in Cobb County. So it was fresh on my. I had just done, and it was, when I say it's disturbing, I didn't mean like it irritates me. I mean like it truly disturbed my spirit to go through.
Well, what truly disturbs my spirit is knowing that I got alcoholics out roaming the streets, driving cars, and putting other people's lives in jeopardy. That's what truly disturbs my spirit. That right there. Oh, every day. It'll keep me up at night. So when I give you things to do that I think may make a difference in how you approach things when you get out of jail or when you finish this sentence, and those things aren't done, well, then my spirit is disturbed again. And I don't like for my spirit to be disturbed. I like to sleep. I like to spend the happy time once I am finished with my obligations to the court. But when I have to think about when your petition came up and I looked at it and I said, I wanted more for her, but I expected this.
It was evident that the judge was frustrated with Ms. Allen during the hearing. Therefore, this failure by Ms. Allen was seen as a challenge to the authority of the court and mockery to the safety of the community. As long as Ms. Allen serves her sentence, her case will close. But the judge then reminds Ms. Allen that if she reoffends or does not fulfill her obligations to the court, things will get worse and worse in the future.
I shouldn't expect you to mess up. That's not how I go into this. When I sentence someone, my hope is that you will do what is necessary to get your life on track. Not just to pay your debt to society, but to make your life better. That is what I speak hope to people all the time. But you playing with me. And we're not going to do that. The 3 months, you think about what you're going to do when you get out. You think about how you're going to pursue your sobriety. You think about what you're going to do with the rest of your life. Now, you got your hair braided all nice and cute. You had to pay somebody for that, but you're not paying for your fines and fees. You're not paying for these classes. Now you're about to explain how somebody did that for you just as a favor. No, ma'am.
No.
Just let it go. All right. So you'll serve these 3 months, and once you serve the 3 months with credit since the date of lockup, then this case will be closed. Miss Al, you know, above all things, that if you mess up again, who you coming to see?
I'm coming to see you, Your Honor.
Do you want to come see me again, Miss Allen?
No, ma'am.
All right, then. I didn't think so.
Judge, you were done with this.
Yeah, you can go back, Miss Allen. Thank you.
Thank you.
The case of State of Georgia versus Cameron LaShawn Allen puts things into a serious perspective about violating probation, especially if one's probation is related to an offense as grave as DUI. Ms. Allen's repeated offense in failing to comply with the dictates of the court, either by not having finished community service or a clinical evaluation and failed to pay fines, is symptomatic of an alarming breach of her obligations as a law-abiding citizen and is against the severity of the crime. Presented with multiple times at correction of behavior and complying with requirements through probation, Ms. Allen proved unable to meet terms, which led to a worse penalty. The 3-month imprisonment handed down from the bench, while the probation officer had been recommending 60 days in jail, conveyed strongly how much disdain the court had for Ms. Allen's repeated offense history. She had multiple incidents of failure to fulfill essential responsibilities, considering her financial capabilities, and more than enough time to satisfy such obligations. All that combined with the then unwarranted excuse-making she made for missing several meetings and not recording her community service only entrenched the impression at the time that she wasn't taking probation quite so seriously. Ms. Allen's case reminds of the aspect of personal responsibility in the justice system, much more so because her behavior, like driving while drunk, can cause the public critical problems. She was further retained in the justice system instead of being released because she had spent another term. Apart from that, she worsened the court's view that it should spend more time to rehabilitate her. In the long run, it would indeed work to the best interest of Mr. Davis if the trial judge would consider probation's social purpose, which, generally speaking, is to give persons who have committed crimes a chance at reform, but at the same time to deter them from any involvement with crime. But when the said person fails again and again to show improvement or take responsibility, then the justice system brings about more severe punishments on him, her. Ms. Allen's sentence may have been grave, but served as a wake-up call since it made her look into the mirror and change for good, and hopefully not to be dragged again into the court. Closing the case, it is clear that the course of law ensures accountability and rehabilitation. Lesson of life. Ms. Allen's experience can turn out to be a good lesson to the lot who might go through the similar situations in future. Failure to comply with the terms of probation may become more onerous consequences, resulting in imprisonment. Such imposition of 3 months, with credit for time already served, highlights and enhances the court's thought on properly ensuring the rehabilitation aspects of offenders, especially when such a case puts public safety to risk.